Hi, I'm Pilar Bewley. Let's chat today about building community. Now, when you homeschool, it is truly essential to have a like-minded community because homeschooling in a vacuum is really hard. You're not going to last long if you are homeschooling without a community. Now, how do you build a community when everybody's been in lockdown for a year or more? Well, you start small, right? And so today I want to walk you through 5 steps that I've taken in the past to build a like-minded community and to find friends for my children and for myself. Now, I think it's really important to have a community, not just because your kids need friends, but because your children need role models too. And so when you find other adults that share the same interests or that share your same values, what you're doing is helping children to see how other adults behave in our community, how other adults interact, and you're really giving them a model of what it can be like to be a functioning adult in society. So let's go through 5 different steps that you can take in order to build community. Even if you're feeling really hesitant, or if you're introverted, or if you really don't know a lot of people in your area at all. So the first thing that you want to do is to identify this unmet need that you might have or that your children might have. So it might be that you want to start a Lego club or a chess club or a knitting circle. Maybe you want to do a nature club or a scientist group. Whatever it is, identify what you want to do. And then you go to step 2, which is to find out if there's any group like that in your area. A really good place to go is your local Facebook group. Now, the more local you can get, the better. There are regional groups, but you really want to try to hone in as local as possible. Now, if there isn't, that's actually a great opportunity because that means that you can create a group from scratch and you can create it based on how you want it to look with all of the things that are important to you. And then take a picture of yourself and your children participating in whatever it is that you want to make a group of. So it could be going for a hike, it could be knitting, it can be playing Legos. Take a picture and then you decide on a date, a time, and a place. Now, some people like to create polls and find out what other people think. Polls can be helpful if you keep it really limited. So for example, keeping it limited to 2 different date options. But the reality is that polls can actually be a hindrance because if you give too many options and everybody wants to have an opinion, then nothing gets done and your group might never get started. So I suggest that you just jump in, pick a date, a time, and a place, and send it out on Facebook, give it about a week ahead of time to encourage people to go. Bump that thread up if it's not an event, bump it up so that people keep seeing it and start to get excited. Now, on the date of the event, show up. And even if nobody else shows up, you're going to want to celebrate the fact that you showed up, you were there, and you modeled for your children that you are resilient and that everybody has to start somewhere. So take a picture of that meeting, whether it was just you and your children or whether somebody showed up. Take a picture, post it in the Facebook group. This is really important because a lot of people will not join on the first go. A lot of people think, oh, well, it's new. I'm not really sure I want to join. But if they see that it's something that is recurring, little by little, they'll start to get excited. And then they're going to want to join as well. If you want to really build this community, you have to be patient. Now, when I started homeschooling and I wanted to go hiking with my children and be outside in nature, I found a group on Facebook that was starting a nature group. And I showed up thinking that it was, going to be a large group. It was 2 moms, the moms who had started the group and their children and me and my children. That was it. And for a couple of weeks, it was just the 3 of us. The 3 families. And little by little, word started spreading. And because they were very consistent, little by little it grew. By the time the pandemic hit, we had split off into 2 groups because there were so many families and there was so much interest in doing it in 2 days. And each group had about 25 to 30 families attending on a regular basis. Now, lockdown hit and everything was closed. We weren't able to meet for almost a year. And then I rekindled a group with a brand new set of parents. And I followed all of these steps. And little by little, our group grew. and we all share the same values. Our children play really well together, and it is our favorite day of the week. So I encourage you to do the same. Build community. Step out of your comfort zone. Even if you are introverted, even if you haven't done something like this before, show your children what's possible, model for them, and you are going to be so surprised and so pleased with the results. Let me know how it goes.